do, or someone offers a Dharma talk, and then we have a discussion. Today, you'll see what we're going to do. So why don't we start with just going around and saying names. Chris?
Beth,
Sherry,
Leslie,
Rachel,
Laura, Kyle,
Susan,
Jill, Anne, Constance,
Sue, Gretchen,
Shelley.
And Susan Spencer, and Julia, and Ellen, and Joe, and Sally, and Sue Ann. So it's nice to be back. It's nice to see all of you, and I'm really glad that we're, Shelley's gonna bring forward and together, we're gonna offer a council, what's it called? Council of All Beings, is that right? Yeah. So we have spent, while I was here and then while I was gone, Chelsea and Shelley and Mary Ann and Erica offered talks. And all of you participated in investigating climate change through the koans. And lo and behold, we are in the midst of the manifestation of climate change with hurricanes barreling down on us. And we are, on Sunday, entering practice period. There are over 40 people in the practice period. Hi, Patty. We are encouraging everybody to be at the city, because we're going to open the practice period. We're going to enter our Shusho, Gretchen, and then we will spend the next 2 months practicing with the Lojong slogans, which seem to me, and were deliberately, intentionally picked because they're wise and grounded and very practical. And I have a feeling that this next month or two, or for the rest of our lives, we're all going to need to be wise and grounded and compassionate with ourselves and each other. We said Monday was, please have your applications in. You guys have been amazing. And if for any reason someone didn't get their application in, I'm sorry, it's way too late. No. You blew it. But if somebody suddenly wants to be in the practice period, you could get your application in as soon as possible. And it would be lovely to have you join. Precepts tonight. We'll do the precepts. Would be once a month from 6:45 to 7:45 to do the precepts. We're on the 4th precept. So I want to say something just for a minute about Joanna Macy, because the Council on All Beings and the spiral work, Shelley and I were talking today. And while the format of what we do today may look like, well, this is really different, I want to say, and I think most people know, that Joanna Macy is one of the most revered Buddhist elders that I know Joanna, that in our lifetime, she's, and so the kind of beautiful and creative thing that she's done with this climate change work and all of her work is it's completely, I think she's actually pretty much a Buddhist scholar. She's grounded it in deep Buddhist teachings, and she's made it accessible so that anybody can come in and enter this, and not just human beings, but animals. So all beings. So when Shelley and I were talking today, I realized we're about to enter a practice period on Sunday, and it looks like there's a bunch of human beings signed up for it. But I want to say, as we always say, that we're doing this for the whole world and for all beings. And I feel some really deep sadness that, I'm really glad that we're all concerned and worried about and helping everybody wherever they're in trouble. But very few people are talking about the toll on the animals and on the earth. And it feels really important to do that today. That I'll talk about Joanna Macy again on Thursday, is that this practice period, we're entering it in some ways today with all beings. Shelley brought some little animal beings here. So may we all keep remembering how important human beings and human life and safety and love and compassion is for the people next to us, known and unknown, and for all the animal life and the trees and that everyone has their own voice and place in this. It's just, we often just don't hear deeply enough or look deeply enough to know that. So Shelley invited me just for a moment to the grounding principles of the spiral that connects, which is so Buddhist, is you enter through gratitude. Like, thank you, gratitude. You sit down on your cushion and you bow. You say, thank you, cushion, thank you, earth, for holding me. Thank you for this body, thank you for this breath, thank you for this moment. So she grounds it completely. Practical body, thank you. And then, I think one of the reasons that we sit together, practice together, Zazen, is so that we can stabilize and develop our capacity to open our hearts and our bodies to ever-increasing love and to ever-increasing sorrow. Because they're like this. So, the second is honoring our pain for the world. And if you don't have a ground of gratitude and a ground of presence, just touch the earth. Why in the world would you risk opening to the sorrow of the world? You'd just die of sadness. So John is so wise. I do think the more you sit, the more you practice, the more tender and poignant the world becomes, and the more you can love and you can feel more sadness. Let it in. Don't turn away. And the third is there's four of them, that's right. Seeing with new and ancient eyes. Dharma eye. The entire body is hands and eyes. Full body awareness. It's not just me. And of course, me is completely, please take care of me. No, yeah, please, you too. And the fourth is going forth. Because from this place, that's a bodhisattva vow. Is of course, when you sit down in gratitude, when you open yourself to the world, when you see the wonder of it all and the impermanence and the preciousness, all you want to do is help. How can I be of help? How can I be of service? So Joanna is amazing. And I'm going to say one more thing just because I wanted to say it. And I've said it before, and I'll probably say it again on Thursday. Is Bruce, my husband, and I, when we were leaving San Francisco Zen Center in 1983, something like that, we were going out into the world, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to work there at that time, and still, there's not as many organizations. I mean, Buddhism has a lot of growing up to do still, and growing down. The Sarvodaya movement in Sri Lanka. Anyway, he and Joanna Macy, she worked really closely with him, and they were Buddhist Theravadan, and they were working in the communities to help people. There was almost none of that happening. And Bruce and I wanted to, with our little 2-year-old kid, we were going to go to Sri Lanka, and we had signed up, and we had visited Joanna, and she had given us her approval, and then Civil War broke out. And we finally got to Sri Lanka 10 years ago on a visit, but that was my first exposure, Joanna, of just saying, please, will you help us help? And she was so available. She's amazing. So, thank you for offering this, Shelley, and please go.
So the Council of All Beings was developed by Joanna Macy and John Seed and has sort of been given to the world, and the world has created many different ways of doing this. It's like a group ceremony is what it is. So, and every group does it differently depending on who the group is. Some people spend an entire weekend doing the Council of All Beings. We have just the time we have tonight, which is, I'm sorry we're not doing our normal Zazen in our normal format, but it's just so that we could really have the most time with it that we can, but we are having just a very small taste of it. And I encourage you, it's online. You'll find all different versions. Well, there's a main version, I should say, but a lot of people then tweak that, but you'll find that online if you want to. The general format will be, I'll be inviting us to have some reflections, then I'll share first, and then Chris will share, and then we'll go around the room this way to here, and then Gretchen will be last in the room. Then we'll have folks online share, and we'll have you unmute, and you'll unmute yourselves, and then I think we'll go with whatever order that it happens the first time, and then we can kind of remember if that's okay, so we don't have to call on each person. So just remember maybe the first time we go through who you shared after, and then we can kind of keep it rolling without a lot of inviting you to unmute. Does that make sense? Because we want to try to make it so that everybody can be involved.
When you're talking to them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're like, who are you talking to? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome, Myra. Yeah. And so before we get started, since it is a council, what we want to do is to try to create a circle if we can. So I had some cushions here, and I think there's a few of us in the room that if we want to form a circle, I think we can. If you feel most comfortable and you don't want to move, I totally understand. And you can use a chair or one of these cushions if you want. Can we get a little bit more circular? If people want to stay, then you can just maybe let me know. That way we can, because I don't need a space for the door anymore, right? So if we can try to, yeah.
And people online, can you imagine yourself being
As
part of the circle?
yeah, as part of our circle too. Mm-hmm.
And let yourself feel it.
That feels like a nice circle, thank you. Okay, so I wanted to open with a poem by Mary Reynolds Thompson. Can everyone hear me okay online? If I start, if my motor runs down, let me know. To feel the breath of wildness come into your body is to reclaim your natural wholeness. It is to be enfolded by fields of grasses and held by the mountain's slow and steady strength. It is to hear in your own heartbeat the thunderous roar of the ocean, reminding you that your life still belongs to the wild earth. All you have to do is live for her. I forgot to mention I'll be ringing some bells and doing some drumming too, so we have the council feel. We have begun the Council of All Beings. We now imagine that other beings, other life forms seek to be heard at our council. You may want to invite a being that you already feel close to, or you may be surprised by a being that comes forth seeking to be heard that you know little about. You may want to wait to find a certain connection or stay with the first impulse that arises. Plant, animal, fungi, mineral, element, ecological feature like river or mountain, any non-human being. We're going to sit zazen for about 5 minutes to invite the being into your heart and mind. So we'll just sit in open awareness and let yourself be chosen. And I'll ring a bell to begin and a bell at the end of 5 minutes. Visualize this being fully and from every angle, its size, shape, and ways of moving. Breathing easily, begin to let yourself feel. Embody this new life form. How do you feel? How much space do you take up? What does your skin or outer surface feel like? How do you take notice of what is around you? How do you move, or how are you moved by other forces? Do you make any sounds? What does your day, your year, your lifetime look like? Embody this being as much as your imagination allows. I'd like to gently invite each being to identify yourself. One by one around the circle, we will introduce ourselves in a ceremonial way. Online friends, please rename yourself as your being, if you can. If you don't know how to do that, don't worry about it. I'll take notes as you share so that I can refer to you as your being. And we'll just sit with that invitation for a moment, and then I'll begin. I am Owl, and I hear all. I see in the darkness, and I fly in complete silence.
I am Worm. My entire body is in contact with the earth. I eat earth. Civilizations have arisen and fallen, and I, Worm, just continue. And you don't even know I'm here.
I am Otter. I like to play and slide down banks into the water. Play's really important. I play with my friends and my family and stay joyous in the present moment.
I'm gonna, because I started it and I let my voice drop. So I'm gonna remind all of us so that people on screen can hear to speak our animal with clear, loud voice.
I'm a tree. My roots are deep in the ground, deep in the earth, connected to all other trees in the world through my roots. Many other creatures live in me and depend on me.
Can you hear online? No. Yes, a little bit.
Should we move that in the middle?
Put the mic in the middle.
It might be good. Why not?
Will it reach?
If we can reach it. But I think the thing is, we want to be quiet. We want to say it very special voice, and that voice is harder to hear.
Let's try that now. Can you hear a little bit more online? We'll see. Okay.
I am sea turtle, and I live mostly in the ocean, and I love to swim and dive. But because I have lungs instead of gills, I also need to breathe the air. So I come up and I breathe air. And I also connect to the earth because I hatch my eggs and my babies on the sand.
Just checking, did you guys hear sea turtle?
Cool.
I am pine tree. And my roots are very deep. And I'm very, very tall. And provide shelter for many beings. And when the wind blows, there's a very particular sound that I make that brings harmony.
I am a spider, and I believe the proper name or the nickname is Daddy Longlegs. And I've always been fascinated by the spider because of the legs, and you exist in cobwebs. And so you can climb, and you're usually in high areas, or you can be stuck in the spider web doing what you want to do, and gives me great inner soul. I mean, you could just take your life in 2 seconds, but I love you, and I always enjoy your beauty wherever you choose to go.
I am elephant. I am big, I am strong, and I am gentle. I live in community and care deeply for my kind. I have wisdom and heart, and I also help other beings of different species when called.
I think we should invite a few people online to speak into the circle so that they can feel their presence here. And then we'll continue. Does that feel okay?
Sure. Let's invite Juliet in here before we go online.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Oh.
Cotton plant. I am a cotton plant. And I have been in the hands of beautiful African peoples. I have clothed kings and queens. I float printed in the mountains of Tibet as a flag of peace. And I think I was responsible for a war. That's all.
Ellen. I'm a black oak tree. I gather sun in the form light, or energy in the form of light from the sun in my leaves, and I combine it with carbon dioxide, and I turn it into all the sugar that creates all life on Earth. And my leaves and in my branches, they're nests that lots of little birds live in, and lots of creatures call me home. I'm getting ready right now for to be done with my work for the year, or my photosynthesizing work for the year. And my leaves are gonna turn beautiful colors, and they'll be red and orange and yellow. And it's a sign of saying, I'm done with these leaves for the year, and I'll drop them on the ground, and these leaves will become part of a home for all the creatures that live underneath it. I create acorns, which are just a wonderful marvel that are little creatures take them and carry them away, so that I can have so there can be other oak trees that come from here. Thanks.
Susan Spencer. Unmute. Oh, can you unmute, Susan? Yeah, we can't. How about while you're working on, or maybe Susan, can you act out for just a moment what you are? I have a feeling you could do that.
Yeah.
We can't hear you, just be it for a minute. There we go.
I feel like I've come home. This is the way I felt today, with people helping me with the computer and doing all the things I needed to do to get here. And I'm here. And I'm remembering leaving the Sangha it was the beginning of February. My daughter and I were walking in the rain, and I tripped. And life has been different since. Life has been wonderful. There must be another word besides wonderful. Just life. Live your life. Live your life the best you can each day. Sending love.
Why don't we come back into the room for a few people, and then we'll come back to you guys on screen. Amy, we're each expressing an animal or being, plant being that comes through each one of us. So Kyle.
I am pelican. Juvenile pelican, and I play and romp with all my little yellow-haired headed pelicans. And we fly together in the sky in V's, and we form barricades in the current, and just with our huge beaks, we grab the fish. Just, I don't even know how we do it with those beaks. I'm still learning. But we kick those fish, and we're doing it together. And so I'm a very social being, and I'm on the beach with 10 different species of birds, and we are a symphony of squawks. And it's just wonderful to be with all these birds.
I am Kitty. My name is Kelsey, and I'm white and I have blue eyes, and I love being alive. I'm very loving. My heart is really big, and my people understand what I'm thinking and what I want to do next and what I need. And I am so grateful to be alive, and I watch the world, and I keep a watch over the earth and the animals that come to my property, and I watch out the window, and I wonder, and I imagine what it would be like to be out there living free.
I'm a maple tree, and I tell the seasons of the year. My leaves change color, they fall, they create a mat. Eventually, my limbs turn green and attract birds sprout new leaves, welcome the spring, create shade for the summer. I sing the seasons.
I am big, magnificent, old and gnarly willow tree. Gently moving in the breezes, providing refuge and shelter for all who come under my canopy. I am planted. I am here.
Seems like we want to bow after each.
I am Wolf. I am covered with thick fur because I live in the north. And I have, when I have pups, I defend them fiercely. And I run a lot. And I have piercing eyes and sharp teeth. And I am here.
How about if we go back on screen and Joe?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I am Heron. I have spindly legs, but they're strong. I have strong wings. I have patience and focus. I stand in the water, completely concentrated on looking for my next meal. My wings are graceful and have inspired human beings all over the world who do martial arts or qigong in the graceful way that I can raise my arms and breathe. I'm Heron.
Sally.
I am red-shouldered hawk. I'm quite often above, floating, diving, sailing. I raise my children up high, and I see you as I turn my sharp eye from side to side. And I help you keep in balance with the small creatures, the moles, the voles, the gophers, the snakes. I am red-shouldered hawk.
And Patty. And we'll come in here and then we'll finish on screen.
I am Mouse. I live in the thickets and the bushes, in the woods and in the earth. I build big, soft nests from the things that I find. I eat what I find. And I love to run and play and chase my friends. And maybe I might sit in one of your teacups one night.
Sue.
I am Gopher Tortoise. I live in a deep burrow in the sand. I am solitary. I am very long-lived. And I'm a vegetarian. I eat a lot of flowers. Right now, there's a big storm coming. And I'm gonna go deep in my burrow. And because I live in a sandy burrow, the water is gonna drain. And when the wind stops, I'm gonna come back out and eat some flowers.
I'm snail. I move very slowly. I can withdraw into my shell and be safe. My patterns reflect the patterns of the earth and water. And when I move, I leave behind a silvery trail. I eat plants, turn them into meat, and those who eat me get protein that I create. I'm snail.
I'm a German Shepherd puppy, and I love my life, but I'm scared and I'm sad, and I'm trying to get their attention. And every time I try to get their attention, the sound I make, like a whining, and then they put me more and more into places that are lonely and cold. And I want to be with, I just want to be with humans. I just want to be with humans. So I can hear everything. My ears are so big and my paws are so big, and I can hear everything. And I just want to tell them. I just want to tell them about it. I just love everything.
Sue Ann, are you there? I mean, I know you're there. Amy.
I am chipmunk. I am busy, 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 busy. And I'm starting to feel the evenings getting cooler. And I'm starting to feel this deep need to slow down.
And Marilyn.
I'm sorry I came in late. What are we doing now?
You're expressing yourself as an animal. It must be a late animal.
I'm expressing myself as an animal. I am a white-tailed deer who wandered down from the hilltops near Calistoga Road. And I love to wander into Susan's garden and feast on her delicious tomatoes. I also keep the house sitter, her name is Marilyn. I keep her highly entertained. And I have to say, all these humans that are occupying my land, I just need to feed myself. And I hope everyone understands. I don't mean to be a pest, but those tomatoes, gosh, those are so nice and juicy. Thank you. Thank you, Susan and Michael. I love your tomatoes.
So we're going to practice using our human voice some more and continue to speak from our being, sharing how it feels to be you and expressing concerns. Take some time to consider the powers and perspectives you enjoy, the relationships that nourish you and that you nourish in turn. Are there disruptions or difficulties you may be experiencing now due to loss of habitat, pollution, neglect? And after each being shares, the council will respond with, "We hear you." So we'll just pause to sit with that invitation for a moment, and then I'll begin. As owl, I depend on trees for nesting and smaller critters to sustain me. There are fewer places that I can live now, and sometimes the food that I eat is contaminated with chemicals and lead that poisons me and my raptor kin. Council responds with,
I hear
"We
you.
hear you."
I am worm. I don't know, because I don't cognize like you. But I sense that when big rains come, I will drown. Maybe it will help nourish the regrowth that will come after. I don't really know. I am otter, and I have been nearly wiped out. My fur used to adorn human beings without thought or concern. Not only concern for me, but how I fit in the web of life. And how destroying me is really destroying themselves. I need clean water, and so do all living beings. And it looks like the streams are drying up, and the beings in control, you think they're in control. I wish they would have some insights into what they are doing. I hear you. I'm tree. We've been around for a long, long time. All over the earth. And my sisters and brothers have experienced so many holocausts, just mowed down for humans to build things,
no sense, no understanding that we're sentient. No sense, of course, of the big picture of how much humans depend on us. And no understanding of the grief that we experience when something happens like this hurricane. Hundreds of thousands of my sisters and brothers were uprooted. And here in California, so many of us burned and then get blamed for the fires. Something needs to be done. I am a sea turtle. And the ocean, my home, is changing. It's getting warmer. And there's little bits floating in the ocean that I think are food, and I eat them. And it fills up my stomach, but it's not food, and I starve. Many of us are starving. And sometimes I get caught in nets, fishermen's nets. And sometimes dogs on the beach dig up my eggs, of my babies. So I ask the two-leggeds to please think about what they put in the ocean and help me survive.
We hear you. I am Pine Tree. And like many of my brothers and sisters affected by all the change. And I try to adapt with my root system that's interconnected with everything. And produce as many seeds as I can for what needs to come next when we can't survive.
We hear you.
We hear you.
We hear you.
I can go outside, then I can be inside, and I fall, and then I'm on the ground, and I have to use my legs and different part of my body and feeling and the patience that it takes to crawl back up and find either my web and be all right that I'm
I am elephant. And my kind are feeling deep grief and worry that we may not last more than a generation. Our territories are encroached upon. Our existence is seen as a kind of novelty, sometimes worshipped, but something to be bought and sold. And I don't mean worshipped in a reverent way, although we have been. But we can be looked at, poked at, not understood. used for entertainment. But humans in their suffering and in their lack of care for one another, some of the starving people hunt us and kill us for our tusks, for what they think is good medicine. And we may be lost. We hear you. We hear you. Let's go on the line with three people in the order that you spoke.
Honored Council, this is Cotton. I am not valued. I am not expensive for those who purchase me, but I am not in fashion. I am being replaced by plastic and nylon and polyester and things that do not disappear, ever. They harm my brothers and sisters in the sea, in the air, and I stand before you as a witness because I am in these rooms with the slaves and the kings, and I hear, and I want to alert you to wake up. Thank you.
Black Oak, I'm not too worried right now. I'm in a place that has adequate water. And black oaks, like me, can live to be hundreds of years old. And even if parts of our branches and parts of our bodies die, we can still hang on with the other parts working. And I know when I die, that my body is just almost as useful dead as it is when I'm living. There's so many creatures that will break me apart and use my wood and my leaves, and they'll fall into the ground and become improve the soil so that other creatures can live. And even my roots, when they're gone, they still create channels in the soil that open up the soil and make it more conducive for water to get into the soil and for other creatures to be able to use me. And I've scattered many acorns over a large distance. So in general, I'm glad I get to be a black oak. I'm useful.
Joe.
I am Heron. I might get my legs caught in fishing lines or my toes stuck in an open can with jagged sides. The water I stand in might have algae that kills me or makes me sick. The ocean might be too hot for me. People might want my feathers and hurt me or kill me for them. Other human beings might shoot me because I'm big and an easy target. There's a big storm coming. It feels like a much bigger storm than we've ever had. I'm not sure. Will I fly away? Is there somewhere I can fly away to? Will I take shelter in the underbrush and have the storm surge drown me? Will I try to find shelter high up in a tree where the wind will blow me and batter my body? Sometimes my life is so calm, or it looks so calm. It probably isn't in the same way humans might think of it. But I'm in danger.
We hear you.
Susan? Mute. You have to unmute.
So I'm unmuted, I think.
Yes, you are.
And I think I said something earlier, but maybe you didn't hear it.
Oh, we did.
I'm so happy to be here. I feel like I'm being held. I feel like I've come home. I didn't think about being an animal, but I think that was such a lovely, lovely, lovely way to connect. And I don't know what kind of an animal I am, but I'm going to think about it. Maybe I'm more than one. Maybe I'm lots of animals. I have 5 children. They're out there in the world and making me very happy. And I'm happy where I live. I live at Friendship House and would welcome visitors anytime. So love to everybody.
Back in the room.
Yeah. I am Pelican, and the elders have told us juveniles about what happened 50 years ago when pelicans flew all over Santa Barbara coast. And then the oil spills came and they covered our legs with oil and our wings, and we couldn't fly. And we died and there were no more pelicans left. But the humans got together and figured out a way to save us and bring us back. And now, if you go to Santa Barbara, you can see us again flying all through the sky. And so there is some way, if we all put our heads together, and especially the humans, to bring us back. Because here we are, just enjoying the sand and the fish and all the other birds. Rejoicing.
We hear you.
I am Cat. And deep in my heart, I am wild and free. And catching mice and eating natural things that are good for me. But I live in a house with humans who believe that I somehow belong to them and that my residence in their home is where I have to be. And I have learned to live with that, but there is a sad part of me that looks out the windows and longs to be out there, chasing the crows off the patio or jumping over fences and visiting other animals. At the same time, I feel safe and loved and cared for in my home. It's a dilemma.
I'm Mushroom, and I come in a variety of ways and colors and situations. I nurture the earth. I have an extraordinary network, and I have the capacity to connect with others and heal sometimes what has been destroyed. I nurture, but I can also be poisonous. But I'm quite beautiful if you look at me carefully. So look at me carefully and enjoy my beauty and enjoy my resilience.
We hear you.
I'm Willow Tree, and I'm okay right now, but there have been some years where I could not breathe because of the smoke. My leaves, my thin, graceful leaves were turning gray with ash, and I felt suffocated. We hear you okay right now. Thank you. We hear you.
My Wolfpack family has been poisoned and shot and driven from our usual lands where we hunt for food. And sometimes we're driven away and there's no food for us. And we're just trying to survive. We're trying to feed our kids. And it's the places where we usually live have been drying out, and sometimes there's no water. And we're just trying to live.
Sally.
Council, like my other feathered members of the council, I also need clean food to hunt, clean air to breathe, clean water to drink. I live high up away from it all, but I am touched by all these other elements, as are you. We must find an answer.
We hear you.
Amy.
I am chipmunk and I'm anxious. I have a big family. I have lots of brothers and sisters and I have little babies and I live in a backyard that's beautiful, but the humans don't think I have value. And I just want them to know I have a purpose. I am here for a reason, and so are all of my family members. That's all I want to say.
Marilyn. You have to unmute.
There we go. Thank you. I am the Western fence lizard, and you might know me for my blue belly. I'm quite abundant in California, and I have a very useful purpose. I eat lots of bugs, and I am also, my brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and children also get eaten up by certain birds and other wildlife, but I feel good that I'm part of the food cycle and that I enrich the environment with my existence. And I am quite hardy, even though you've encroached upon my natural environment, I still come back. I'm still plentiful. And so you will see me in many places. But please don't be afraid of me. Thank you.
Oh, I'm still a gopher tortoise. I'm an ancient species. But I live in a relatively small area and I can't leave quickly. I am having a hard time because the places that I used to live are covered with houses, and the sand that I burrow in, there's concrete, and there's pathways and roads. When I try to cross the road, I'm not particularly fast, and I can get run over by cars. I am having a hard time finding other gopher tortoises because the places that I live are so cut up by people's houses and towns. I live a long life and I am solitary, but I don't really expect to meet another gopher tortoise. I think I will die alone. And I'll still eat some flowers.
Like many of the two-leggeds, many of us come from across the ocean and are not really part of the food web here. We're immigrants. And many of the two-leggeds try to get rid of us with poisons and tricks, and it's a challenge because we don't want to be a problem. We didn't ask to be brought here, and yet here we are, doing our best to be a part of the new food chain. And hopefully we'll find some value, as we did in our home in Europe. So.
We have deep gratitude.
Julia.
Oh,
I okay, I am a cow. I'm a cow and I'm a female cow, and I love my babies and I want them to stay with me. We love each other so much. We really, you could use some of our milk, and it's just, you take it all. Like, it's for our babies. It's really not for you guys. And we just want you to notice us, and that every time you see us in a field and we look peaceful, remember we were taken away from our moms right away. And we need to be heard. We need to be heard because we have so much love inside of us. And you guys have so much love and so many hugs and from us, if you just pay attention. And we're just always going to be full of love, but sometimes we get to escape, and we're really happy about that. The humans now so welcome us into safe places and are thinking about us out loud.
We have deep gratitude to all the beings that have come forth and shared what it is like to live on this earth and in the oceans. Most of us enduring great suffering derived from the activities of humans. It would be good for humans to hear what we have to say. Let us summon them to this council to listen only. So I want to invite 2 council members to come forward and sit in the middle with your backs to each other and facing out. If anyone wants to shed their embodiment of their being and step forward as a human, so we could do this just for this next part only.
Like this.
Thank you. Yeah, with your backs, so you can support each other. Your backs against each other. Does that make sense? If that's comfortable?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah, so you can support each other. Thank you. So I'd like to invite our council members to share. We'll just, we won't go in a circle for this. We'll just share as we feel moved and address the humans directly. And after we address the humans, they'll say, the council members, we hear you. And I'll begin. Hear us, humans. This is our world too. Be still for once and listen. Perhaps it is because I am nocturnal. You have forgotten me. Your car headlights are disorienting and disturb my hunting. Your offenses can cause me great injury. When you hear me calling at night, please remember me and my reliance on the darkness.
We hear you.
I think maybe in terms of timing, maybe just 5 people, something like that, who's ever ready to speak out.
And that could be online too.
Dear humans, I am Pine Tree. Please sit beneath me and sense what wisdom we have to give and what medicine there is here. We hear you.
Dear human, please know that the smallest little action ripples and makes a difference.
We hear you.
We hear you.
Online.
Humans, don't print campaign slogans on me. Sit and think and recognize that we are connected, and be kind to yourselves and to me.
We hear you.
Humans, I don't really notice you that much, except as you are a danger to me. But I mind my own business. I'd like you to leave me alone.
We hear you.
Right in the room, 3 more people.
Humans, you need us. Like you don't know how much you need us. Please leave us to be wild.
We hear you.
Humans, please stop being so violent to other humans that then we get hunted, we get used as a resource for people who are desperate and starving. So please just stop it and help each other.
We hear you.
Humans, please understand that you are not the only beings who have minds and hearts. Please stop being so surprised when you discover that some other creature has intelligence and communicates and loves and is connected to their own families. Please stop thinking of yourselves as so special.
We hear you.
Now that the council has addressed the humans and called them to account, a shift is occurring. For all their machines and apparent power, the humans are now aware of the state of the natural world and the suffering of all beings. They feel overwhelmed by the momentum of the forces that they have unleashed. It does not serve our survival for them to panic or give up, for truly our life is in their hands. If they can awaken to their place in the web of life, hopefully they will change their ways. What strengths and gifts can each of us in this council give them to help them now? So now each being has the chance to offer to the humans the powers that are needed to stop the destruction of the world. the qualities inherent in each life form here at this council, we can offer as a blessing to them, and the humans will respond with thank you. So we'll just have a lot of time left about 5 of us in the room sharing and a few people online, and I'll begin. As owl, I offer you my keen senses. I see everything from up there. Have an expansive mind and see it all. See how it's all connected.
Thank you.
As worm, I offer you great patience of not trying to get anywhere, just of being.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As pelican, I offer you what happened to us and how you helped to save us. And you can do that again. You have that within you. So don't give up hope, just act.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Has snail the ability to be at home and feel safe wherever you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As chipmunk, I offer you naps. I offer you the possibility to just
Naps.
slow down whenever you need to.
Thank you.
One more online.
Julia?
Looks
We
like
can't hear you.
Julia, you have to unmute.
Cotton speaks, and I will be your Tathagata robe, your peace flags, and your uniforms to wage peace instead of war.
Thank you.
One more in the room.
I give you fierce love. And that will help you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, friends. You can turn to the hazel seats.
Thank you.
So as we transition back into our own bodies, into our own forms, let's sit for a moment to digest the stories and the feelings that were shared in our council tonight. The heartfelt exchanges and the offerings of gifts and blessings to enter the world with new wisdom and intention. And we acknowledge and honor the beings that came forth through us to be represented in our council. And know that there are countless more beings, each with a unique presence, challenge, and blessing to share. Put hands together for a little releasing at the end here. Just start to rub real slow, feeling the warmth of your human hands, remembering the being that came through you, remembering your connection to all beings, And then on the count of 3, we're gonna lift our arms up and out and send love and gratitude to all beings. Go a little faster, pay a little more warmth and wisdom and love. 1, 2, 3.
Beings on earth numberless, I vow to save them. Delusions are inexhaustible, I vow to end them. Dark gates are boundless, I vow to enter them. Buddha's ways unsurpassable, I vow to become it. Dang. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next time we do this, we can make masks.
Yeah. Next time we do this, we're gonna have a whole day and we're gonna.
Yes,
And
please.
I've read about this for years and I've never been able to taste it or enter it this way. And I'm just, it feels at this time on our earth and to invite our awareness to include as we enter practice period that we are practice perioding for all beings. And I am just totally delighted that we are going to have a snail for our Shuzan.
Can I just say one thing? You know, it was after all of the conversation and everything, to chant the Bodhisattva vows, it was kind of like, oh, this gives it a whole different perspective.
Yeah.
Beings are numberless.
Beings are numberless, I
Yeah.
have to save them. Yeah, Joanne
delusions are
this is what
Oh,
she's
God.
dedicated her life to. So, and so have we. And now we're just a little clearer about how vast and wide and deep the vowing is. Yeah, living for all beings. So we are going to clean up those people who were staying for precepts. We are going to make a little circle over there the way we usually do. Precepts are how we live the Bodhisattva vows. So please stay if you'd like to. And we'll see you on Thursday. Those of you who are Thursday folks,